Great, so you've all created your first file, and you saw how pretty easy it is to create text files with Nano. I'm going to suggest to play again with Nano so that you get more familiar with it. So I'm going to do the same thing with you guys using my terminal. So I'm suggesting to create two files, file 1 and file 2, and then of course you can enter any text you would like to, like my first test file with my first test file or wherever. When you finish, of course, as we saw, you can hit Ctrl plus X to exit the file, and if you would like to save, you say yes, or if you say no, it's going to destroy all what you've done. And also create a text file called file2 composed of 4 different lines of text. Okay, let's do that. So I'm going to go to my terminal. Okay, I need my terminal. Here we are. So I'm going to check again where I'm located currently, and I'm under session 1. So I'll start by creating file 1, so nano file 1. It's again a new file. File 1 doesn't exist already. So here you have the name, and we have an empty file, we have nothing yet. So I'm going to type my first, well, it's not my first, it's my second, but still, my first file with Nano, and then it's, I mean, wherever you would like to, to write. And then hit Ctrl X, and then it's going to ask me if I would like to save the changes, and I'm going to say yes. And it's given you again the name of the file to which information is going to be written. Here, notice that you can change the name of the file if you would like to, but we don't want to change it, so I keep it file 1. But you can change the name of the file if you would like to. And hitting enter, it's going to save. So if I type nano file 1 again, it's going to open the existing file that we already created, and you can move into the file and add some text if you would like to, okay? So again, I'm going to hit Ctrl X to exit, and it's asking me if I would like to save the changes. Let's try no this time. And if I open my file again, you can see that the line that I've added recently hasn't been added because I chose to not to save when I did exit the file this time. Okay, so and of course, when you don't make any change, when you hit Ctrl X, it's not asking you to save or not, because there are no updates in the file. So I'm going to create file 2. Remember, I asked you to create a file composed of 4 different lines, so blah 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 blah, or whatever. And I'm going to save my file, Ctrl X, and hit yes to save. And it's okay, I want to save it in file 2. So now if I type ls, I can see the file we first created, testnano.txt, and then the 2 files that we just created now. So if you would like to see all the details, like the date of last modification, the owner, etc., remember that you can use the option -L. And here, like using the option -L, it's given me all the details about my files, and including the write access to the file. So we're gonna go through the write access details in more details during the next session. All right, so take the time to play a little bit with Nano. Make sure that you are able to create at least these two file texts, and then we going to see how we can visualize these text files once created using different commands. Of course, before we go to the different commands that allow you to visualize the content of a text file without using the Nano editor again, there are a lot of useful shortcuts that you saw in the bottom of the screen when we opened Nano. If you would like to search for some text in a text that you are editing, you can hit Control W and then specify the text you would like to find. You can cancel this search by typing Control plus C. Without destroying your buffer, and you can hit Control X, of course, if you want to finish typing and close the open file, sorry, as we just did. Remember that when we type Nano followed by the file name or the path to a given file, it opens the file if it's already existing, so you can modify it as we saw. And it does create a new file if it doesn't exist. Okay, I'll go back to my terminal and try an example specifying path. So again, here we are under session 2. Let's say we would like to create a file under we are in session 1, and let's say we would like to create a file under session 2. So I'm going to type Nano. And if I would like to create the file under session 2, I have to specify the path to session 2 first, and of course followed by the name of the file. So we have two options, like either use the absolute path starting from the root, so it's gonna be root users, my username, etc. Or we can use the relative path to where we are. So the relative path to session 2 from session 1 is going one layer up in the hierarchy and then going down to session 2. So if I type ... it's going to take me one level up, and then from that level up I'm going to go straight to session 2. Okay? So in session 2, I would like to name my file file1. It's fine because it's not going to be created under the same directory in which we have already one file called file1. So if I hit enter, it's going to open a new file, and you can see that the file that I'm trying to create is under session 2. And I can hit test, and then blah blah blah, and then test, and then test again. Let's try to do some searching. Remember we said that we can hit the Control W to do some searching. So here I can type the name, the string that I would like to look for. Let's try to look for test, and then we hit enter, and as you can see it's highlighting the first occurrence of a test. If I hit Control W and specify the string that I would like to find, it's going to highlight the occurrences of that string. If I would like to interrupt this search, I can exit the file, or I can hit Control C to interrupt the search. And if I hit Control C, it's going to give you all the details about where we found this this string. So if we hit Control X and we choose yes to save, it's going to save the file. And if you would like to check if the file is already existing or not, you can use ls with the path to the directory in which you created the file. So for instance, I can do ls one level up, sorry, with the two dots, session 2 and you can see that session 2 contains only one file, the file we just created. Great, so now let's move to see how we can visualize the content of different files using a handful of Linux commands.